Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for hanging out with me for this December daily video. If you'd like to see what I'm going to do, stick around. Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for being here for this December daily process video. This is going to be stories 11 and 12, which are going to be very interesting for me to document. Story 11 was basically a Christmas miracle, and we ended up getting tickets to go see the Rockettes because a friend of ours unfortunately was sick and had 4 free tickets to give away. She didn't want them to go to waste. So we took them. So literally, Tuesday night, the night before we left for the city at 8 o'clock, we were planning this last minute trip. And we ended up bringing one of Nora's best friends. And then on the way home, I drank some seltzer that was like a prebiotic seltzer I've never had before. And I think that that's what caused an allergic reaction, but I had a severe allergic reaction that lasted over a week. In fact, at this point, I still have some hives on my body, and I just finished my super strong meds, but it landed me in the hospital eventually, urgent care first, and it was like over a week of really, really bad illness, probably the worst I've ever endured. So it's going to be interesting to see the Christmas miracle of story 11 juxtaposed with the most bah humbug story if I could ever imagine for story number 12. So I've kind of started to put it together a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do, other than I knew I wanted to use this paper that I got last year, and it's a couple years old from Pink Fresh Studio. And I love it obviously because it's like reminds me of the city. It even has the tree and a taxi and everything like that. And I thought this paper is gorgeous. It's double-sided because I have a lot of photos. So I was thinking that, I obviously already put these together. I knew I wanted to have these sort of film strips to document sort of the sightseeing portion of the trip. These frames I got from Studio Calico. Allie Edwards, I have some of hers as well, but I wanted color. And the ones I have left from my collection with her are black. So various photos from the trip, and then of course the tree. And so I was thinking of doing a flip out, but I'm not exactly sure how to make it all work. I also have journaling I have to do. These are the 3D glasses you get for Rockefeller Center when you see the Rockettes, which is pretty cool. This sort of little stub from purchasing our train tickets back, are the ephemera pieces that I have. And then I have a couple more photos. This is the chandelier inside of Radio City. And of course, Rockefeller Center from the opposite side. I also have this transparency, which is from the Paper Person shop that I was going to try to somehow incorporate. I've got lots of little bits of ephemera from both actually, these are all from Busy Sidewalks by Crepe Paper. And yeah, I don't really know how this is going to turn out, so I'm just going to put you on fast forward and do my voiceover. So let's go. So the first thing I'm going to do is punch holes on the correct side of the paper because I don't want to get caught up in the creating and then forget to punch my holes where they're supposed to go. So I like to do that first, and I'm just using one of the Allie Edwards page protectors to guide where I punch those holes with my crocodile. Love this tool. It's pricey, but it's totally worth the investment. If you don't have one, you definitely should get one if you are a crafter. So my idea is to have the photo of the tree on the outside because nothing says New York City like a photo of the tree at Rockefeller Center, right? And then I wanted this film strip of photos to I wanted the outside border to peek through, but not show the photos, if that makes sense, which is why I have it clipped there at the top so that the edge of the plastic can just barely be seen. I was going to have the photo of the tree overhang, but I decided to trim it down so that it fit perfectly on this flap. And as I'm laying it down, I'm like, wow, this is going to be a great opportunity for me to add some ephemera or some embellishments to the bottom. And so I'm just going through some of the pieces that I have pulled out, and of course, choose none of them. So eventually, as you can see, I've made a mess going through lots of different die cuts from Ali Edwards. I decide on the perfect sentiment, which says sometimes the unexpected things turn out to be the very best things. And I was like, wow, well, if that's not the best way to sum up this story, I don't know what is. So and it fits perfectly in that spot. It was like totally meant to be. So I tape that down, and then I use this little label sticker for the top of the photo. I decide that red is going to be the main accent color for this story. And then I want to add a little tab. So I love these tabs, but they're a little bit deeper red for the red that's already on the page. The red that's on the page is more of like a red orange. So I'm going to use these other labels and then pick a sentiment from this tab stamp set to put on it, which I think, what does it even say? All the joy. Perfect. Perfect for this story. And that is VersaFine black ink there that I'm using. And I wanted to put it on the side, but I didn't like how it looked when the rest of everything on the front flap are vertically oriented. So I put it on the top. Then I was very proud of myself for this little idea that I did, which was, as you can see, I'm trimming the transparency down, and I'm going to use it to create a little pocket to hold all of the extra photos and ephemera that I shared with you in the beginning. So I'm just going to score it at about 1/4 inch around each side, and then use some red line tape to adhere it to the inside pocket. And I know you can't really tell that, you know, there's a little tree on there and that it's like kind of a map, but I know what it is. And I just think, I don't know, I love the details of coming up with these layouts for each story. So I'm going to keep using those tabs, and then I decide to back this photo with some extra pattern paper that I have. And it's from Ali Edwards' collection last year. I love this little, it's like a really subtle cream with green ledger, and I'm going to use that to handwrite my journaling for this story. And I like the way that all of those pieces fit inside there, and now I'm like, okay, what else do I do? So I go back to pulling out these die cuts, and I'm like, I loved the Our Special Story sentiment too, because this is our special story, and I'm sure one we'll never forget. So I wanted to include those, and I thought, well, let me just do 3 because I love to have balance in groups of 3. And then I was like, oh, I have this other picture. I need to include that. That can fit in this pocket. What am I going to do with this second strip? What am I going to do with both of them? How am I going to add them both? So once I figure out, I want to have it slide underneath, like pull from underneath, because I really wanted to use the little taxi that is in the Busy Sidewalks ephemera collection to be like the pull tab for this set of photos. And so I figured, well, it'll look silly if I pull it from the top because the cars drive on the road. They don't fly. This is the way my brain works, okay? OCD. So I am going to create a way for this set of photos to pull out from underneath the paper so that it looks like there's just the red strip of photos, but then surprise, you pull on the taxi and there's 4 more pictures. And I'm just using some extra cardstock to create the little hinges so that the photos have some place to rest. And once I know where that's going to go, then I'm going to use my score tape to adhere the red strip to the front. Obviously, I had to make sure that the green strip lays right directly underneath it. So first I put the red one down, and then I can make sure the green one is in position. Now I'm back to figuring out, oh, okay, now I'm going to add the taxi to the bottom. It's so cute, isn't it? It's just perfect. I love the way this turned out. I'm very happy with it. Using some red line tape there, adding the taxi. It covers up some of the picture, but that's okay. Voila! Ta-da! It's kind of like what I wanted to say. That's the idea, right? You pull it out, surprise. All right, so now I'm going to figure out how to embellish these circles. And eventually I'm going to settle on some Ali Edwards stickers from last year's collection. In the end, I end up taking the fa la la off of the green circle, and that's where I'm going to put the number 11. For now, I am figuring out how to put these pieces inside the pocket, and I found this Apple paper clip, which I was like, oh my gosh, again, little tiny detail, super perf. Big Apple paper clip, you know, it's just, I love it when a plan comes together. For consistency purposes, and so that the back of this photo doesn't look jacked up, I'm going to add some more of that cardstock. I don't even do anything to the photo or to the back of it, but I just wanted to have it look clean and finished, if that makes sense. I hate that I have to put the tab on the vertical orientation of this photo because it's a horizontal photo, but that's what I had to do for it to fit inside this pocket and to make it all make sense. So I did my journaling off camera, and I'm showing you now. I want to use a paper clip to hold this flap closed. I wasn't sure if I was going to use Velcro or a magnet or what, and I'm like, let me make a paper clip charm. And I had already used these alpha beads for Nora's wishlist story, so I wanted to incorporate them again. And I don't think I've ever, maybe once, made a charm, but I was like, let's just do this. I ended up making 2 different charms, but I thought it looked like too much. So I end up only using one of them. And I'm going to really speed through this section here. I also want to let you know, I just like watched some YouTube videos on how to do this, and bought these supplies a while ago because I had every intention of like starting to make charms and just never did, of course. So a bunch of these charms, these are all from Joann, and then the other items are from Michael's, and I'm just using jump rings to adhere each of these little charms to this clip that already is pre-made with a chain and a lobster claw. So again, it's too much. You can see I'm like, no, and I decide to only go with the one. I thought the label looked a little nakey, so I put a red star from the December Daily main kit. I think it's from the main kit. And I wanted to add a little something extra, but I was like, it's too much. It's too much. You've got enough going on, lady. Then I'm going to hem and haw over numbers, and I end up settling on these simple ones from Michael's, the Recollections brand. And that is it for this story. So moving on to story 12. This is the Bah Humbug story of all Bah Humbug stories, and in my December daily Zoom chat, the ladies have unanimously agreed that I win, and it's not a contest I wanted to win. Obviously this is a story of me nearly having a cardiac event because of the severe allergic reaction I had to the what we think was the prebiotic soda that I drank on the way home from the city. In about 24 hours, I started breaking out in hives, and I've had hives before, but not like this. And I've been through quite a bit in my life. I've said this many times. I have all the acronyms, but CPTSD being one of them. So that should tell you that I've been through quite a bit. This was the worst, torturous, awful experience I've ever had in my life. So I'm going to keep it simple, and I just made a little 3x4 grid of 6 photos that I took of the progression of the hives and my face, which I cover up with this Post-it because I literally look like either I had major facial reconstruction and my face is swollen from the process, the surgery, or it looks like female Hitch. If you've ever seen Will Smith in the movie Hitch, that is 100% what I looked like. And so I'm just journaling about how awful it was, how I was basically in constant torture even after I went to urgent care Friday morning and received a cocktail of steroids and antihistamines. Those didn't do anything. So by Sunday afternoon, I decided I needed to go to the ER, and it's a good thing I did because they immediately saw me, got me oxygen. They said my heart rate was high, my oxygen was low, and I was on the brisk of having a cardiac event. So thank God for IVs and meds and doctors who actually said they had never seen a case like this. And they were just like, my treating doctor had to consult other ones for a different cocktail of meds. So needless to say, I got much stronger steroids and antihistamines in a different cocktail, and it seemed to work. So I was able to go home the next morning. And that's just the front photo of myself in the hospital because I was alone. My husband obviously had to stay with Nora, who was a hot mess and very distraught because mommy had to go to the ER. So she was scared, obviously. So I'm just using my Paper Person shop stamp set to create all of the different sentiments about how crappy this was. And I do a little stamp cluster. I add a little bit of stickering at the top with the these alphas are from the Ali Edwards Advent sticker kit, which I'll get to in just a sec. But first I'm going to use my dark green Posca pen to check off. It says, well, this is a mess. And then it says little, medium, big, huge. And I checked off huge, of course. So there is the stickers that I'm going to use, and then these little pill stickers are from Paper Person Shop as well. And so I'm just going to embellish this picture. Whoever would have thought this would have been a story I would be telling in December Daily. Not one I wanted to tell, obviously. So adding a couple of those little puffy stickers. I'm much better now, by the way. It did take me like a good week. But yeah, it's been rough, man. It has been rough. Then I remember, oh, I have this, I saved my bracelet from the ER, and how am I going to add that in? Also, I'm totally doing these pockets on the wrong side of the page protector because it's going to be the back side of story 11, so it needs to be flipped around, which I'll get to that at the very end, but it's not really a big deal. Right now I'm just going to add the dates, which is the whole week that, or few days that I was really sick. Which was the 8th through the 12th. And then, you know, my body started to finally heal and stuff. It's like a week later and I'm still having hives, but they're not nearly what they were. So, stamping a little bit on this pocket card, which was something that came when Jenny Garcia sent me a December Daily kit that she created for me last year, and I've obviously kept everything because she sent me so much good stuff. And this one is perfect because, you know, it says Bah Humbug, it's green, it goes with the green Bah Humbug paper from Ali Edwards, and so I'm going to do a little bit more journaling on there. And then the bottom pocket is the 4x6, so I'm going to trim down the paper. And then I am going to use my Ali Edwards pen. It's the, I think it's the Slick Writer pen maybe or something. But anyway, I'm going to use that to make these little like dots around the word Bah Humbug just for a little bit of something extra. That exclamation point is from the Unexpected Story Kit and it's perfect, and I use it to create the number 12. The 2 is an add-on wood veneer 2. Obviously these are huge, but they're like, it worked out so well. I knew I wanted to use that exclamation point, and then I was like, oh, what if I made that a number 1? Do I have another number 2 that's nearly as big or about the same size as this exclamation point? Because they're pretty big. They're about 4 inches tall. So then I found my wood veneers and I was like, oh my goodness, it's green. The 2 is green because all of the numbers are different colors. I think it's from Week in the Life or Day in the Life or something. It was an add-on. So anyhow, that is going to be basically it. I'm going to use, I'm going to trim down my hospital band and add that to the bottom left corner, or bottom right corner. Yeah, bottom left corner of this card. And then use red line tape to adhere the exclamation point and the 2 to make a 12. And then the last thing I do is add a little tab so that you know this is a flip up. Not that I necessarily want anyone to see these photos, but you know, I had to document it. So it says don't open. That's what I used. It's kind of funny from this Ali Edwards stamp set because I don't want anybody to open it. It's probably meant for a present type story, but this was not a present. So here's where I'm like, oops, wrong side of the page protector. So I fixed that real quick. I'm going to tape it down to the back side of story 11, and that is going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this crazy story, both the miracle, the Christmas miracle, and the Bah Humbug story for December, and probably, hopefully, forever. I hope this is the worst story I ever have to tell. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've got any questions. And yeah, do me a favor. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, my sweet friends. And remember that you are enough. See you next time. Bye.